everybody. This is Lice Harger, and thanks for listening to the Fuller House Podcast. 1, 2, 3, 4. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Whatever happened to predictability?
The Fuller House Podcast with Erica and Kylo Ren. Sorry.
Well, that is the most exciting thing I've ever been called. But don't be scared, people. I'm not an evil Sith Lord. It's just the lovable co-host of the Fuller House Podcast.
Well, it's just that you've been so dark lately. I thought I would call you that, but
goodness.
Apparently it's a compliment. So
we've got Star Wars on the mind since as we're posting this, The Force Awakens is out on Blu-ray.
We have Star Wars on the mind because it's all you talk about to me, which makes it we. But anyways, we're here for part 2. I hope you guys loved part 1 of the Juan Pablo Di Pace interview. I know I loved having it. And Kyle, you just heard it for the first time.
Yes.
You like part 1?
It was excellent, and I was a little bit concerned because you guys didn't talk much about Fuller House.
Well, don't worry, that's what part 2 is all about, and that's what we're gonna play you right now.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Enjoy the interview.
Enjoy.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, I have some Fernando questions for you. I know people are dying for me to really get to the heart of Fernando. Okay, I have a feeling, and you can tell me if I'm wrong or not, but I have a feeling that Fernando was written a certain way originally and kind of evolved into what he is now.
Yeah.
Is it true? Did he start more kind of grounded and went somewhere different? And if so, was that your spin on him or...
To be honest with you, I don't know how... I mean, I get the feeling that it was like that, too. I think Jeff Franklin wanted, quite a nice arc for Fernando anyway before I joined. So he didn't know who he was going to cast, but he's like, this character is like... We like writing this character because I remember the writers were having fun with it. But... for sure, I do remember that in the casting process, we tried a few things. We tried no accent. We tried the accent that then ended up being for Fernando, and it was kind of like a trial and error thing. But the scripts were written literally as we were filming as well. So I think what happened with Fernando is that we kind of all created him at the same time. So I have a feeling that I was as much part of the process as the writers were. When they saw like a few things, I guess maybe episode 1 or 3, the wiggling thing, the dancing thing, I don't think it was going to be very big. And then I kind of mentioned, hey, by the way, I'm a dancer. And also the song at the end of episode 12, that kind of happened because I was singing at a party and Jeff saw that I sang, and he's like, oh, we can definitely make you sing in the show. So yeah, I think a lot, but that happens with every character in Fuller House. Ramona's character, for example, I don't know if she was envisioned being a little dancer, but certainly Ramona is Sony is an incredible dancer, so that's why they put it in there too.
Right.
Jeff is incredibly open to what you can bring to the party, so it makes our job really fun because we feel like we're all creating it, even though obviously they're the geniuses who actually write it and come up with the most hysterical jokes.
Yeah. So, I feel like Fernando was like, I can't tell if he's the hot guy or if he's like the freak. I feel like people come away, and I know there's Team Steve and Team Matt, and I feel like everyone's just very confused about Fernando in a way.
Yeah, well...
What is he to you?
I don't know. I think he's just someone who's incredibly in love with his family, and is desperate to lose them, desperate to get them back. Of course, he's a little Marmite, you kind of either love him or hate him in a way. And I sort of love that because I've always played characters that were very sympathetic. And I think throughout the season, like from episode 1 to episode 13, there's definitely a shift of how we feel about Fernando. You know, at the beginning is Fernando, and this guy who broke one of our favorite people's hearts. I mean, Kimmy is just like everyone's sweetheart. So this guy who broke all the promises and stuff, we don't want to like him. But throughout the show, I think, hold on a minute, he's actually quite sweet and quite a dork, just like Kimmy.
Yeah.
And so I think that's to me anyway. That's a very interesting part of the character, is that it's not exactly black and white the first time you meet him. You know, even though he's a bit of an open book. I mean,
yes,
you know what you get when he enters a room, but yeah, I don't know. He's just so bizarre. I just love how weird he is. It's just so weird.
He is weird. I mean, he used to be a hairstylist, and now he's a race car driver. I mean,
yeah. When they wrote that,
I
was
don't
like,
know.
What?
Yeah. That's
oh, really?
Interesting,
okay.
right there. Okay, so in your opinion, does Fernando deserve Kimmy's forgiveness?
Yeah, he does, because I think.
Oh, you're Team Fernando.
Oh, totally.
That makes sense. You play him.
Totally, yes. I mean, I think it's so lovely to see how much they love each other. But yeah, no one knows. It's a huge mystery, even for us. Like, we have no idea where they want to go with it. Because I think that the wonderful thing about this family is that actually Ramona is the adult. She's the adult, and he's pretty much the child, and Kimmy is sort of like half mother, half daughter of Ramona. So
True.
I just think lots of families are like that, you know. When kids grow up in an environment where their parents are not necessarily all together, they have to develop a parenting kind of quality. So it's very realistic in that way. That's why I love this family, because it's very true to a lot of families.
And also the diversity that you kind of bring in with having a half Hispanic daughter. I think that's very interesting too, because we didn't see a lot of that in Full House.
Yeah. Full House was very white, wasn't it?
Yes,
it was very white, but I mean, that didn't stop it from being a worldwide success. It was that show was watched in India and in everywhere, Europe and Africa and South America. But I think now,
did you watch it in Argentina?
Yeah, they did. We got it. We got it a bit late. We literally got it when it finished, so like around 95. But yeah, but no, the diversity thing is awesome. I think it's wonderful to have different cultures in any show today, because that's what society looks like today, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely relatable.
Yeah. And also,
you're reaching...
and also it's cool as well to kind of tell people, hey, you know, there's Latin Americans who have this particular thing about them. That's something that I'm very, like, excited about. It's because I'm Argentinian, and Fernando is very Argentinian. So it's like,
he's supposed to be Argentinian, correct? Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think it would be cool to also show how Argentinians are, because Argentinians are very different from the rest of the South Americans. And
be careful what you say. You're talking to a Chilean.
I know, but aren't we? I mean, even Chileans are very different from the rest of South America, and even Brazil. Brazil is a very unique country. So I think what is exciting for me as an actor and as a South American is to kind of clarify what our differences also are in the South American world.
Have you ever had we were talking about Kimmy and Fernando and the relationship they've had. Have you ever been in a similar situation of Fernando where you had the one that got away?
Well, yeah, I guess we all have that.
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Everyone does. I mean, yeah, that's something that, and also I'm mid-30s, so I've been through.
What does that mean?
Mid-30s.
So
when you get to be mid-30s, you have quite a few different experiences and types of relationships. So I think I covered like all of, whatever, broken heart, one that got away. You kind of start taking all the boxes.
And did you ever try to get somebody back as hard as Fernando did?
Ooh,
I don't think anyone's ever tried that.
I guess I did, but I think he's way more extreme than me. And Fernando is very extreme, and I kind of love that, that commitment to go all the way, and it's really, I don't know, it's sort of sweet. I moved around a lot, so that for me has been the trickiest in terms of relationships, because the moment that I know that travels are going to be important in my life, then I try to focus on that, and so everything else kind of falls apart.
So for right now, you're in the U.S. though, so a lot of people's ears are perked.
Well, yeah.
You are in a situation for a little while, at least.
That's true.
Okay, so what do you think of the Full House fan base? Mm-hmm. Because, the Full House fan base was on its own. So when you're walking into this, did you realize what was happening, or? No,
I think I only realized on the live taping of the first episode. I knew that it was a huge phenomenon, but I didn't know how much of a living, breathing fan base it had, and how much people loved it. And we got, I don't know, when I say we, I mean they got the most incredible live reactions when they first came out into the audience, and it was like the rock stars came out.
Yes.
And that was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm stepping into, And so it was kind of daunting. It was kind of scary, because I was the new guy, and it's the new guy who is not a kid and cute. It's just the new guy, So they might hate me here, and so it was pretty scary, but it's been amazing. The fans have been incredible. If it wasn't for the fans, we wouldn't have a season 2, because I feel like they are so violently supporting the show. It's like, this is like this. We are going to make this happen, and also I think
that's true.
I think people who haven't even accepted the fact that they loved Full House in the beginning, they are now saying it. They're coming out of the sort of under the stones and going, you know what? I never said it, but actually, yes, I watched Full House all my life when I was a kid, and even though I was an emo, but I loved that show. You know what I mean?
Oh, yes. That reminds me of an email we got from somebody who was in complete... It was the most interesting picture. He was just in complete, punk rock, black eyeliner, just, full tattoos. And he's like, I just want you to know I'm a huge Full House fan. Right. And not all of us look the same.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Because I think it's very obvious what the reason why that happened. Full House, Jeff Franklin, Bob Boyett made a show that actually speaks about the family of the real family of today. Families that are broken, families that have one parent, families that have divorced parents, families that go through problems together, lying for the first time, your first kiss, your first heartbreak, and so people grew up with these kids on television who were going through the exact same thing. And if you look closely in every episode, there's sort of like a lesson, but not in a preachy way. It's almost like it's a life lesson that, hey, life can be hard sometimes, but we're all in this together, and there's a hug at the end. And so I think people responded to that because it was coming from a really good place. It's a show that comes from a really good place.
Do you watch Full House now? Do you see it on Nick at Night and stuff?
Full House?
Or do you try to catch up? Or Full
Yeah,
House.
I catch it when I can. I mean, I don't actually. I'm not a TV guy, so I won't watch channels. But if I can catch something online, an episode or two once in a while, I do, and it's really refreshing to see those girls there. I mean,
that's really different for you to act with them now, and then to watch them as kids, and the start of all this.
Yeah, it's
that
very
must
weird.
It must be a little strange. Who do you like to watch the best?
Who?
Who do you like to watch the best in Full House?
All of them, because they're all so different yet the same. I remember I saw a little interview. I happened upon an interview of Jodie's, I guess, and she was 8, and she was being interviewed in this show full of kids, and she was so sassy.
Yes,
she was so sassy. I was like,
cute.
"Go, Jodie! This is definitely the same Jodie that I know." And so cute and so fun. And then obviously Andrea just melts my heart, like as a kid as well, because she's so beyond her years as a kid. Like when she was 12 or 13, she was coming up with these comedic situations, and you're like, hold on a minute, you're a child, and you're actually pretty much like the Phoebe of the show, you know. But Phoebe was, in her 20s or whatever when she played Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow. But Andrea was very, very young, so it's amazing to see that too. To go, well, I'm definitely getting a really, really amazingly talented partner in crime on the show. I love working with Andrea because it's just. It's just for everything. It's so fresh and so fun and so zany, which I love. This is the first time that I actually have a character that's this zany and lives in this bizarre world of kookiness, and so she makes it all the better.
You get to live in it together as one big happy family. And then your daughter's like not that weird.
Right.
So it's like, how did she come out like that?
She's a normal one.
Yeah, it's been, all the dynamics have been very interesting to see in Fuller House, especially coming from somebody who watched Full House religiously and now it sees all these different aspects of the show. Who makes you laugh the hardest on set? Is it Andrea or?
Let me see.
You probably shoot the most with her.
Yeah, I do. Scenes. I mean, but we're all together, which is fantastic. Like when you shoot, for example, you're doing a one camera drama, then you end up only spending time with the person that you have a scene with. But on a sitcom is amazing because we do have to rehearse together, and we're all there at the same time, many times a week and a day actually. So I'm around them all, and I don't know. I mean, of course, Elias is incredible. And Jodie has the most perfect timing, like poker face, but she will just say a line and it will be just amazingly funny without even trying. Andrea, of course, I've said it, she just cracks me up because she's so strange and lovable. And Candace is the sweetest heart. Candace is one of those people who you just want to be friends forever. I mean, and she really is that person. She's such a loyal friend and such a welcoming and warm woman. We have actually with Candace, we have that sort of hysterical laughter when it starts. Especially her and me, it just doesn't finish. Sometimes we'll be doing a scene, and I see her from the corner of my eye, and she is laughing her head off, but trying not to, so her eyes are watering. And I just... And
she knows Fernando's about to come out.
Yeah, well, she sets me off. I think it was the scene where I was jumping off the roof, and I came in with a Frisbee. And I said something about the that I wanted to play with the American Girl doll, and she's supposed to hate me, like DJ doesn't like Fernando. And I remember from the corner of my eye after I said that, her eyes were literally just bursting, and she could not hold herself. And so that's a normal dynamic between us. It's very hard to keep it together between DJ and Fernando.
So it's her laughing first usually, though.
Yeah. But I'm terrible at that. I don't hold it well. So
you could have fooled me. So you went to see Jodie on Dancing with the Stars recently. Can you share a little bit about that experience? You went to the first taping, right?
I did. It was amazing. It was really emotional, actually, just to see, your friend up there, your colleague, putting so much of themselves. Because Jodie is a real fighter, and to see her do such a fantastic job. Like I said it to her. I said, by the way, Jodie, because I was a professional dancer for a long time. Like when I got to London, that's what I did. I was a dancer, so I was doing all of it, ballet and jazz and contemporary and
Wow, ballet too.
Yeah, because I that was my first career. I did lots of music videos and musicals and dance shows, and then I decided to be an actor slightly later. So because I've been there and because I know technique, then I said to Jodie, I said, listen, Jodie, you have to understand that very few people in this crowd and the contestants actually have technique, but you did,
or understand technique even.
Like she actually did. She was. I thought from what I was watching that she has been a professional dancer before. So I just and she was so lovely and he gave me a hug and her family were there. But very proud of her. I think this is amazing for her and she's she's doing great every week. So I hope she goes all the way to the end.
Me too. When I was a kid watching Full House, she had this dance scene, and I'm telling you, she's my idol. She was my hero. Yeah. She was so good. So she had this dance party, and I was like, I want to be just like her. I want to have that same birthday.
What about?
Then I realized I can't dance like her.
But what about the dancing episode number 3, where she's doing that whole thing with Max? It's incredible.
I think everyone loves to see you guys dance. Like it's a lot of fun when you guys were dancing. Yeah. That episode is my favorite.
Yeah, it's a fun one. That was really, really fun.
Yeah. And you got to show off some of your moves too. You got to wiggle.
I got to wiggle. What they didn't show is that I did the whole entire salsa that Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey do. And they didn't show that, but we did that with the girl that played my dance partner. And we learned the whole thing. It's there. If you watch again, you'll see.
You seem like you have a strong connection with Ramona, who is played by Sonny Bringus.
I love Sonny. I mean, she's such an adult and such a hard worker. I don't know how, and the same with the other kids. I mean, Michael's fantastic too, and Elias. There's something about Sony that reminds me of an adult working. Like she gets a note and she goes for it full throttle, and she doesn't complain ever. Like there's something quite adult about her. She's very clued up and clued up, and so I love that. I love that because she'll definitely go very far with that work ethic. And her mom is amazing. Like I spend time with Marta because Marta is from Spain, so we speak Spanish on the set, and that's why I'm close to Sonia as well, because she's got this whole, she's a Latina, So yeah, I love that kid.
Awesome. Okay, my husband Kyle cannot be here, so he asked me to ask you a couple questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Just last few. You lived in London for a while, so Kyle would like to know if you have a favorite doctor from Doctor Who.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's one of those. What do you call
well, mine is very
something?
What
do you call the posse? A Who something? Is there a name for them? Well, maybe not.
The fans? The Who fans? Or
I thought they were called something. Okay, maybe not.
Oh,
I'm a good wife, I swear.
You know what? I haven't watched that much Doctor Who. I watched a little bit, but I have to say that my favorite is Peter Capaldi because I worked with him and he's hilarious.
Is he?
Yeah, he's just the most talented actor. He did In the Thick of It, and that was huge, both here and in Europe. But I just think, he's like my favorite. But then again, I'm not a huge Doctor Who fan.
Oh, you didn't have to say that part. Just kidding. That's okay. I'm not either. Oops.
I'm not a fan of cheap. I'm not a fan of like cheap special effects.
Yeah, it's a little hard for me to get into as well, but that's between you and me until Kyle hears this.
It's a very cult thing, you know. If you really love that and you're really into it, then fantastic. But I like my CGI to be on point.
Okay. All right, here's a random question. If you had to have a false rumor spread about you on Twitter, what would you like it to be? And maybe we'll spread it.
That's a good one.
Kidding.
That's a good one. I don't know that I a false rumor that I'm a fantastic cook.
Did we finally find something you're not good at?
Yeah, no, that's not true. I'm not a great cook at all. I'm the most simple cook ever. I'm like a 5-minute cook.
Top
anything
ramen.
that. Well, I mean, just I'm not great at seasoning, so like my stuff is kind of boring.
You're a bad seasoner.
Yeah, I just need to learn from. I need to go home and say, Mama, can you just give me a few pointers on seasoning? Because she's the most amazing cook, but I'm not.
Yeah, I bet she makes some good Argentinian food.
Yeah, well, because she's an artist, she's one of those people who literally finds anything in the fridge and makes something incredible out of it.
Ah, sounds like my mom.
But you will never eat it again because she'll never know how she did it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so false rumor that you're a good cook.
Yeah.
Incredible cook.
Incredible cook,
okay.
But I'm not really.
All right. Okay, last question. What's the geekiest interest or hobby you have? Tell us something embarrassing.
The geekiest. Wait, because I've got a few.
It's not Doctor Who. We know that.
Well, it's not Doctor Who. I love singing reality shows.
Singing like The Voice?
Like The Voice, like X Factor, American Idol. Yeah, but I don't like, not so much the ones here, but I geek out when they're like, a little bad, like the ones in countries that are not necessarily well produced. Actually, yeah, I will rephrase what my geek thing. I do love reality shows that have to do with some kind of talent. So I like seeing challenges and people sort of come up with ways to, to win the challenge. Because it's about creating something and showing what you can do.
So you like seeing the dreams aspect then? Yeah,
I do. I mean, yeah, I do. I do because I'm such a dreamer myself. Like I came from this, very humble neighborhood in Buenos Aires, and the only thing that kept me from, the only thing that made me kind of go forward is just imagination and wanting it really badly. So when I see that people do well from being passionate, it actually makes me happy.
Well, this has been so much fun hanging out with you, Juan Pablo. I've learned so much today. Thanks for being here and giving us your time.
Oh, my pleasure. It's actually quite cool to talk to someone who knows so much about the show and about, us and Fuller House. And Full House is really lovely.
Yeah, you're talking to a crazy fan, so.
But that's nice. That's the best
I'm glad you
interview.
Think so.
Huh?
Aw, I'm glad you think so.
Yeah. Like there's nothing worse than people who interview you and they don't know what they're talking about. Amazing when people know their stuff and research and you have an actual conversation. So, thank you.
Thank you. Maybe we can do it again sometime. We'd love to have you back on. Okay, well, thanks.
Thank you, Erica.
Okay,
bye.
Okay, so that was a very cool interview.
Oh, I loved it. It was so much fun to do.
Did you save anything for a part 3?
No, I wish. I mean, we're going to have to call him back for that. Right?
Well, maybe we can talk to him again as season 2 approaches.
Well, he said that we could.
Oh, gosh, look at you. You guys are all buddy-buddy.
I know. We're BFF. Don't be jealous, Kyle.
So if you guys enjoyed what you heard, we also have an interview with the wonderful Elias Harger. If you just check the fullerhousepodcast.com or look in your little podcast app, you'll find that a few episodes back. And he is just adorable.
He is, well, I think they already knew that.
Yes. But... Well, I would say he's even more adorable in the interview.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, and thank you so much for recording those intros for us, Elias.
Yes, thank you, and thank you to Elias's mom, who helped get us those too. She's been so great and so nice, and
she sounds like quite the sweetheart.
Yeah, and she listens, so
woohoo!
Little shout out there.
We're gonna have to send coded messages to Max through our podcast.
You mean to Elias?
Yes. So anyways, if you guys are enjoying this, we got a lot more Fuller House goodness. Make sure to subscribe in iTunes or Stitcher. And we always love your 5-star reviews. How do 5-star reviews make you feel, Erica?
They make me feel pretty good. I feel really on the spot right now, but...
Okay, well, let's get out of here. It's been a busy week, and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program next week.
Oh, I like how you did that. Okay, bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Fuller House Podcast with Erica and Kyle. Find us and like us on Facebook at the Fuller House Podcast, on Twitter at Fuller House Cast, or on Instagram at Fuller House Podcast. Or shoot us an email at fullerhousepodcast@gmail.com. And make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing to us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this show. And feel free to leave us a 5-star review. See you next week.